And I've been reading up on some of these issues, and parental involvement is very important in keeping kids in school. Having smaller class sizes is important, so that the children or the students feel like they're part of this system and not just one of 40, 50 people in a classroom that isn't getting one-on-one attention. And there's a lot of things that can be done. Not always with money. Sometimes it's just people caring about the students and showing that and being able to spend the time with students.
I'm wondering if anybody ever asked the students that drop out, why did you drop out? And that would be interesting to hear what they say, because there may be a myriad of answers. I don't know.
There are a whole host. Some of it's family economics. Some of it's
I don't care.
I don't care.
Teachers, I would like to find out if the blame is to be on the school system. It's probably a combination.
It is more of a community problem as much as anything.
Mayor, it's time for just one more question, if that's okay.
How about 3 more questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Unfortunately, I had to write my question because I'm not addressed to this. It's a bit of a statement and question, and I believe it goes to the heart of you winning Weaver County. My name's Stephen Thompson. I'm the current president of Weaver Chapter of 8, American Bikers Aiming Towards Education. The Weaver Chapter of 8 in Abeta, Utah represents several hundred bikers statewide, of which 99% are registered voters. Voters registration is encouraged in membership. I polled approximately 120 members. Of that 120, 12 were Democrat, 12 were Republican, and the rest were independents. I have asked this question of other candidates and feel I should ask you. I believe these numbers are representative of the statewide population. I also believe that this contributes to low voter turnout. Independents need a candidate. We've seen this with Ross Corroon in Utah. So in saying that, my question is threefold. Do you intend to go for the independent vote? Do you have a plan to do so, and what is it? In closing, I want to say I am an independent, and I'm voting for Peter Perry for governor of Great State.
Thank you. I have one independent vote now. I mean, really, the best way to get the independent vote is to stay away from the politics. Just stay focused on the issues. This isn't about being a Republican or Democrat. It's about moving the state forward. It's about having a good education system, having a good economy, having a good quality of life, good air quality, just the basics that people want for everybody, no matter whether they're Republican or Democrat. I think sometimes we focus on party politics, and they're important in some ways, but in reality, at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same issues.
I do have a vision of a commercial with a sea of bikers with one spokesman saying Abeta, Utah supports Peter Corroon.
I like it. You signed up? Hold on, I think we're going to go here.
I'm just wondering, I look around this room and I see a lot of, what would you say, very middle class white folks, for the most part, and I wonder, sort of a stronghold, really the supportive base of the Democratic Party is in its diversity. And so what will you be doing? What is your plan for dealing with minority groups?
And Matt's my political director, but field director. But really, we are trying to reach out to as many different groups as possible. Really, I mean, you have to govern and represent everybody, so we want to bring everybody into the conversation now. We're creating different groups to try to expand out and talk to everybody in the community, not just one specific segment, not just the people who get involved in politics, but going to the universities, going to the Hispanic community, going to various different groups of people, and trying to tell them who we are. And I really think that as we grow as a state, we're becoming more diverse. We should celebrate that diversity. It brings a lot to our communities. There's challenges along with it, but certainly having a diverse community does add to a richer community.
I just came from, my name's Bill Hanson. I'm here in Weber County and worked in law enforcement for the past 10 years. I just got back from the state capitol building where you
I
got
heard there were hundreds of people up there.
4,000 people that are distraught at Governor Herbert and Senator Lellenquist and Representative Ray. They think that the best way, they think there's a crisis within our retirement, state retirement system. Forbes magazine has just rated it the most solvent retirement system in the nation. Do you have any thoughts on if there needs to be any changes to the retirement system? And if there is, what would you do to help build it?
I think the basics are working. You know, we're having this debate because we're part of the state retirement system, that is our county government. As you mentioned, I think we're 87% funded, which is more than most other states have in terms of their funding. So our retirement system isn't broken. We've obviously had a dip, and it's affected this system, but it's not broken. You know, I think there can be some tweaks to the system. I think the double dipper thing. I think as much as those double dippers like it, probably isn't the best system to have. So I think that can probably change. Otherwise, I think the system works pretty well. And I know, you know, Senator Lilquist, I know his concept probably is a good one, but I think in reality it would hurt the system that's currently in place. I mean, his idea is that we offer two systems. One is a defined benefit plan. The other one is more of a 401k system. And then we have two systems. You can choose which one you're in. The problem with that is that, you know, you need to know. Getting too complex here, but you really need to know what kind of system you're going to have and focus on that system. Otherwise, it can be complicated. And I'm somebody who's never been in a defined benefit system. I've always been in the 401k. I get some money put in to my system, and that's my money, and I get to control it. So it's all I know. But I know as government, a lot of times we want people who will be in government long term, and not just for short term periods. And that's why the defined benefit plan is really a better way to go, I think, for government. Maybe not for corporations, but I think for government it works pretty well. And so I don't see that we need major changes to the system. All right, one more.
Mayor, I probably get booed out of the room for this, but my father was very instrumental in starting the Republican Party in Weber County years ago. I have been very disillusioned with what's going on a national level, primarily with our politics. When I watched the State of the Union address, I was very displeased on how the parties were interacting with each other. That having been said, I think a big part of the problem is what our politicians do to work together and get along. I'd like to read a little poem that I wrote. And by the time I'm done, I'm going to have offended just about everybody in this room. But I think people will get the point that this poem says. America's past healthcare reform and government's programs have become the norm. The world's doctors, lawyers, politicians, and such still haven't given up very much. The insurance industry is dancing with glee. They still don't understand that money ain't free. The world's people left working are wondering why. They can't save a buck no matter how hard they try. The people expecting free medical care are still screaming loudly that the world isn't fair. The dumbing down of America has worked its charm, with people wondering how their children were harmed. Corporate America is still sending jobs south. Heaven forbid if you open your mouth. The world's standard of living is lower each week. Government's answer, more taxes to seek. Our governments try to stimulate the economy, but need to be fostering opportunity. The fearmongers come at us faster and faster while loudly proclaiming yet another disaster. Our bankers and lenders are still out of touch. They still get their bonus but don't produce much. Environmentalists are still in the fray, ignoring the economical way. Lobbyists work to their own ends. Isn't it time they make amends? Hard work and learning are a thing of the past. Why bother to try if your efforts don't last? The few voices of unreason change like the season. Maybe one day they will find a good reason. Our children suffer for problems not buffered. and pray to the Lord a solution is often